Hey. For those of you who have never been to my channel, my name is Lisa. That's the way that you pronounce it. I am actually here today to explain some business tips to help the fellow man for 2024. These business tips are personal to me. These are tips that I've learned in my few years of having a business and what I've learned that causes my business to flop. So, for starters, I had a hair and skin company. I want to say about 5, 6 years, give or take. I don't want to lie. But the business, it could have been a little more than that, but the business was doing good at some points, and then other points, mm-mm. One of the biggest things I've learned, though, when closing the business is how I did not have it filed properly. That was number one for me. That was what took it from me. Was like, wow, I was sitting here operating all this time wrong. And so it came to a point where the IRS was looking for their money. Um, and I'm like, I don't owe you guys anything. I had to do an appeal and all that scary stuff to just let them know that it was an honest mistake. It was just filed wrong. So to prevent that from happening to anyone else, I just want to give my advice, my tips on if I were to open another business, how I would do it. Number one, I would say for me, the first step would be to discover your product or service. Figure out what it is you want to offer. I would say off the top, don't offer too much. Oh my God. The number one thing is to not offer too much at first. You start off with a few things or a few services, and then you branch off, and eventually you start to bring out everything else you can do. But when you try to do it all at one time, and it's so much bumble and jumble, kind of like the menu you see at the Chinese restaurant, right? It takes you a minute because you're like, it's like a whole book here. I don't know what I want. But we know one thing for a fact, we want chicken wings, right? But that's how I felt about a with business. I felt like when I first started off, I had just two products. I had grease and I had oil, and then I went to butters and soaps and scrubs and lotions, and I tried to do perfumes and colognes. It became too much, right? It became too much, and you end up having all this extra inventory that's not selling. So I would say first and foremost is discover your product, discover your service, and ask yourself, is that product needed? Is it wanted? And is it marketable? Because if your product isn't marketable, let's just cancel the whole ordeal, right? But if your product is something that's needed, and when I say needed, it's one of those products where people don't want to run out. I must get more. I do not want to run out. So if you have that sort of product, by all means, get busy. But if you have a product that people want occasionally, which could be clothing, that's one of the hardest businesses out there. So anybody make it past 5 years, I give it to you. That's one of the hardest businesses because people will have to want your type of clothing, right? So I would say that's the number one thing with that, as far as wants. So once you discover whether your product is or service is needed or wanted, determines whether or not you should move on to the second step, right? So the second step I would say is your name. This is very important because so many people fail on this and they don't even know they're failing right now. Because your name needs to be marketable as well. Your name needs to be diverse. That's just the world we live in. You can sell your clothing to one race. I don't recommend it if you're looking to be extremely profitable, right? Because we always think about one boutique, but what if you wanted two? What if you wanted three? You need a name that's marketable. And I'm not talking about marketable in your city. Let's look for names that's marketable worldwide. Let's think of a big name where it can one day be a big brand. People are going crazy about Louis, but you never know. People may go crazy about your brand one day. So that name is very important and it needs to be marketable. So when you're thinking about your name, you got to think about, depending on how big you want to go. Everybody don't want to go big. So if you want to go big, I would say look for a name that is that can be in magazines, that you can see in fashion shows, that you can see celebrities wearing, things like that. So sometimes your name take a while. Sometimes it may take a year. I've been in the business for I don't know how long, and I've changed my name. I finally found my name on the third try, when the third revamp, and I was like, this is it. This is the name. But sometimes that still isn't what we think it is, right? To where it can be extremely marketable. And unfortunately for me, it it the only thing that was marketable for me with my product was about two soaps, the turmeric and the yoni, right? So everything else was, they had to want it. And so when you have those wants over needs, but it goes back to the name, because there could have been more people who would be like, okay, I never heard of this skincare line, let me try this skincare line. But again, you have to have that name. It has to be catchy. It has to be something that people generally want. So once you discover your name and once you have that down pack, I would say let's move to step 3. Step 3 is very important. It's actually the most important fact here, the most important step here that a lot of people don't take into consideration, and I was one of those people as well. So what I would say is inventory. And when I say inventory, I mean do your numbers. Am I going to profit if I sell this soap at $5? It costs me whatever to make it. Can I profit if I sell it for $5? So whatever product or service you're selling, can you profit off of that? So if you're an esthetician, there's a lot of new estheticians coming out who want to come out with their own skincare line, but the number one thing is to do your numbers. Are you going to profit? Because you don't want to sell a body scrub for $50. You know, it might make sense in your head, but not to other people. Who's to say your scrub isn't worth $50? It very well may be, but we have to be real. We have to be realistic sometimes, especially when you're a new company, especially when you're branching off and nobody knows you yet, right? So I would say, excuse me, guys. This is me recording live. This is no edit, so you're going to see all kind of things, right? So what I will say that is, if you, well, let me get back. Okay, inventory. Inventory is important. Is do your numbers. So if you do your numbers and you figured, okay, I can profit off of this, move forward to the next step. And if you feel like, no, I can't profit off of this, not realistically, or oh gosh, I would have to do X, Y, Z, don't do it. Another thing is with inventory, can you afford it? Because if you can't afford it, and when I say that, your job, your full-time job, or whatever other hustle you have going on or whatever, shouldn't be funding this, right? It shouldn't be funding this new business that you have. Your business should be funding itself. And I think that was another thing that I had wrong too. Your business should always be funding itself. So if your business is not funding itself, that means number one, it's not profitable. So you have to go back to the drawing board. Let's go back to number one. Why is this business not profitable? Did I launch the right product or did I not? Some people have the right product and service, right? But then the one that they want to launch first isn't the one that's going to really sell. So I would say, to make sure your product will sell, do a poll, do a poll and ask people, do you guys want lotions? You want butters? You want perfumes? What are you guys looking at now? And I know candles is a really good business, but there's so many different businesses out here. It's like, it's scary. What would make your candle business different from all the others, right? Is your candle lasting longer? Is it sitting up the hallway and not just the house? Like, there's so many different things you have to look into before you decide, okay, I'm just going to open this business and just be done with it, right? No. I would say, if you did your numbers and you feel like you're not going to profit, you can ask yourself if this product or service is right. But I will also ask myself, is this a business? And I say that, and I'm not being harsh, everything is in a business. And so many people are trying to make certain things a business that isn't a business. And I'm going to say this, is going to hurt people's feelings, but lashes and lip gloss isn't a business. And the reason why I say that is because it can very well be on top of something else you're scaling. If you're selling body oils, body butters, and you're selling candles or lotions and other things, you can do lashes and lip gloss. If you're selling lashes and lip gloss by their lonesome, it's hard. I'm not saying it's not doable, because if I say that, I'm sorry guys, if I say that, I'll be wrong, right? I'm not saying that it's not doable, because by all means, somebody out here is doing it. Somebody is out here successful with just that alone. But it is hard. And when I say hard, you damn well got to get on camera all day, every day to show these people what these swatches look like. But not only that, you may be a chocolate, queen. I'm not. You can look at me, I'm not. So your lip gloss, your swatch will look different on me. That's what we need. You need different skin tones when you're doing skincare. It's simple. Um, it really is simple, guys. It's not, it's simple, but it's hard at the same time. But you do need, if you have friends of different skin tones who would like to show people how things would look on them, eyeshadows, whatever it is you're selling, that works. Same thing with doing, it's like doing makeup, right? So when you do makeup, it's one of those things where people see how you do makeup on a light-skinned person. They see how you do makeup on a caramel person, and they see how you do makeup on a dark-skinned person. Like, okay, this girl here can do some makeup. But I've seen some people do makeup very good on a dark-skinned person, and then when it comes to my shade, it's like, they're trying to get us casket ready. So it's and I know it's hard because my shade has to be made. And I know a lot of people like, girl, you're light. We can find, no, you can't. My shade has to be made because I'm not equally light or the same color in every part of my face. I'm darker, around the edges. I'm brighter here, and I'm extra bright up in here. So you have to know exactly what you're doing when you're doing my makeup. You definitely have to make my color. Then my eyebrows are not equally yoked. So you have to know what you're doing, right? And this is me right here, right now. Bald eyes, no makeup, no whatever. If you don't like, this version of me, you just have to talk to God, because this is just it, right? 33 years of living with it. This is just it, right? So let's get back on topic. So the last step that I want to say, that if you have checked off on everything, not that you hope you did, for a fact your numbers are right, you have that profitable business, it is a needed product, and you have your name, the last step is to start your business. But wait, you can't just do that, right? A lot of people's like, just go get your EIN and whatever. No, it's not that simple. So when you're starting your business, you need to figure out what entity, what type of, how would you like to file your business? Let me say that, because a lot of times when I say entity, people are confused. So how would you like to file your business? LLC, a sole proprietorship, a limited partnership. Like, those things are important, and it makes a very, very big difference on how you file your business. Recently, and this, I kid you guys not, recently I thought I wanted to do catering, right? So I did everything I needed to do. I'm like, I'm going to open this catering business, and this time I'm going to do it right. Wrong. I thought that I should have do a corporation, because I'm like, I want people to work under me. I want this to be a large catering company, and I thought about that thing, and I'm like, I'm not cooking that food. I know it sounds crazy, because if you follow me on social media platforms, you do know that I love to cook. I do. But I don't think that I'm a catering cook. And that's important, because when you're cooking for large groups, your food needs to taste good for large groups, which is something that I've not really done, right? So I just cook at home. So I just decided I don't want to do this. I went to go close the business, and I realized there were so many other letters that they sent me telling me that I needed to file this by this date, with this corporation being open. And I didn't. Here I was again in 2023 at the end, going through with the IRS again. So that's when I still took a step back and said, you have to make sure your business is filed properly. How do you make sure your business is filed properly? You hire someone. And I say this strongly, because if you can't afford to hire someone to make sure that your business is scaled properly, get out of it now. Don't even do it now. Wait a year or two. Wait till you can afford it. And I'm going to put her information down below. This is very, very, very important. This is an important step, to hire her, because you being, in messed up with the IRS is not good. It's not good at all. So I would definitely, like, my next step, I'm hiring her. If I decide to open something else, I am going to hire her, because it's not worth it. It's not worth the fees. It's not worth getting in trouble for. It's not worth the fines and all these appeals you have to do. You have to wait so many weeks before they respond back. Like, it's horrible. So I would say hire someone. I don't know what city or state you guys may be in. Hire someone who knows the laws and regulations of your state. That is very important. Don't let anyone tell you that, oh gosh, all I did was get my EIN and I filed LLC and I did this. That doesn't mean that their business is filed properly, sweetie. And I'm here to tell you, it does not mean their business is filed properly. So you definitely want to make sure that business is filed properly, because if not, you're going to have all kind of fees, fines. Most importantly, you can't get funding. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why I could not get funding. It wasn't filed properly. You need proposals. You need things that tells about your business. If depending on the type of funding you're getting, they want to know about your business. Tell me why you should get this money. You know, oh, I got this eyelash line. Do tell. So does a bunch of other companies. But why should we give you this money? You know, so it's very important to have it filed properly. Like I said, I'm not an expert. This is just tips and tricks that I've learned with, me doing that business for that long and haven't profited, right? It wasn't going anywhere. It was just right where it was at. So it was the number one reason why I did stop selling soap. There's so many people's like, oh God, I love it, I love it, I love it. You didn't love it enough. And that's just me being honest. Nothing against anybody else, because that's your funds. But if it had the amount of love, that it could have had, it would have been profitable. But it wasn't. And it's okay. I'm not mad about it, because it's one of those things where you learned, and then you decided that I decided that I'm no longer going to do this. So um that's just where I'm at with that. Mm. Sorry, y'all, love coffee. But so, and let's say, and I'm not going to tell anybody how to file their business. You're going to have to contact NAKISHA, and she will help you decide what is best for your business. Also, do not be alarmed if your business is not a business. Some things are just hobbies. Some things don't need to be involved with the IRS because it's not a business. And a lot of people need to learn that when you're deciding, when you're saying, I want to start a business, or I want to sell this product, it may very well not be a business. Don't get involved with taxes and IRS for something that you're barely making by with. It's not a business, right? A business profits a business. When a business is profitable, it's funding itself, right? It's paying you, it's paying employees, because it's doing great, right? So when you think of a product, don't think of, I'm sorry, y'all. I keep bringing this back up, and I promise you, this isn't to not make anyone feel bad. I like this example, right? So if you hate me for this example, again, go pray, because this is my example. Lashes. I'm going to keep saying that and it's not because I don't feel like it's not a business. Somebody out there is rich, I don't know, could be off of selling lashes. I'm not saying it's not profitable. What I'm saying is, if you're going to sell it, you need to know how to sell it, right? You can't just come up and say, yo, I got these minks. Okay. Y'all, I got these 25 millimeter. Okay. But you're only selling to one market, right? You're selling to all the girls that like those, right? But what about women who are in business like me? I'm not in the business right now, but anybody who knows me knows I'm about my business. I'm not walking around with, I'm not doing that. So when you're talking about lashes, where's the lashes for my people? Where's the brown lashes? Where's the black? Where's the jet black? Where's the, there's so many people who sell lashes, and they only sell them in one color. But baby, we're not equally yoked. Where's your blonde? Where's red? People are different colors. I've seen this lash tech in Sumter. I won't call her name, but this isn't nothing bad. She's doing well. Why? Because the lash extensions that she puts on is for every race. And this is what I mean by, is your product needed? Is your product wanted? Is your product marketable? Because if you tell me, baby, I got lashes that match the color of your lashes. We can't all assume all our lashes are black, right? I've had some jet black scripts that really look, So I found some that are natural. They are like a dark brown, and they are great, right? So, and my sister sells them, right? But she can't sell lashes alone. Because again, she doesn't have lashes for every race. So it's one of those businesses where if you're going to sell the product, you need to know the product. If somebody calls you and say, hey, what glue can I use? Any lash glue. This is why it's important to leave certain things to people who are skincare professionals, such as dermatologists, estheticians, things like that. So an esthetician, will answer that question differently. Hey, what lash glue can I use? Why don't you come in for a consultation and we can test a few on you to see which one, to make sure you don't have allergic reaction, Or I recommend this brand. It's great for all skin types. Your lashes will last XYZ amount of time, and I do removals. Look how different that was. So what do you think people are going to go? That way. Because it's like, okay, she knows skin. She has a removal service. She's going to make sure that my eyes don't swell up. I get allergic reactions and anything. Those things are important. Cleanliness, sanitation, all that stuff is important in every business. That's good. That's important in every business. I don't really care what service you're offering. You could be doing real estate, cleanliness, sanitation, safe, being safe, all that is important in business. So especially when it comes to skincare. So when I did skincare, anybody could tell you I knew skin. I didn't promise anybody anything. And I've always told them when they should test things on themselves. And, when I felt like they should go see a dermatologist. And anybody who ever talked to me will tell you that I've told them that. I've been completely honest. When it came to the black soap, everybody couldn't use it. And I told it burnt some people's skin. I'm serious. So you have to know skincare. You have to give people those disclaimers. You have to let them know. I wasn't a licensed esthetician, but I researched my ass off. I took courses. I took classes. I took, sanitation courses and skincare. I took things that people didn't even see. And this is why when people have their business or their prices scaled at a certain level is because of the education that we have to invest. We have to invest in. So if your business requires you to network, if it requires you to get additional educational courses where you need to learn about the businesses change. They do. So if it involves that, do it. Stop being lazy. Forget going out with the girls on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and let's get into this business, because we're talking about your livelihood here. And there's a lot of people who say, oh, I want my business to do this, I want it to do that. You have to prove it. You can't prove it to social media. Get off social media and start working on it yourself. Figure out, how can I get this business to be $1 million business? And what I'm trying to get you guys to understand who do sell lashes, you need to make sure that you market those lashes. You make people think those are the best goddamn lashes they can get, right? They're reusable, right? And don't say they're reusable and they're not. I've bought some like that they're not. And, and also if someone wants you to put them on, don't put them on with hair glue. Come on now, let's get the right stuff. Let's get multiple things. Let's get some professional looking things. And I see that with some people too. I've went to places to go get wax and I'm like, I've had to cancel my appointment right then and there because, and I'm not afraid to say this isn't sanitary. This doesn't look safe, and even with the wax people, I want to touch bases on this too. And the reason why, because I see a lot of people getting into the esthetician world. I got a sister who just became a licensed esthetician. So it's important. She's licensed in South Carolina and North Carolina, but it's important that, and I know they teach you guys safety and sanitation in the course. That doesn't mean that everybody follows it when they get out here, right? Every woman isn't equal, when it comes to certain things. Me, I'm not putting my bare ass on nothing. You need some disposable something, right? And some of you are like, oh, I wipe my table down, and but if I see a crack or crevice in your table, you don't know what's in that crack. And if I lay down and I just move a little to the left too much and my cheek just gets down in that crack a little bit, I don't have loose butt, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to make it make sense. Anyway, those who get it, and if you don't, then you're the one who putting your bare ass on anything. I'm not. So I feel like there should be some tactics. If you are sanitizing your table, cool, but make sure that table doesn't have cracks or crevices, right? Update your equipment, please. So and I said that so strong because I'm so serious. You when you're in certain businesses and you want it to be a long-term business for now until you get to where you want to be and profitable wise, you need to make sure you have the best equipment. You can't just be out here doing stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm playing in my hair because it just looks scraggly. But anyway, you should definitely want to invest in your inventory. If you had this same table when you first opened 7 years ago, come on. And I've been places where people had some raggedy tables. I'm sitting there getting wax and the table shaking. Come on. Invest in the right stuff. Get different waxes because everybody's skin isn't the same. Woo! I would have y'all here all day if I would tell everybody how to properly do their business. And don't get me wrong, I don't know how to tell everybody, but it's just some things as a customer that we see, and I won't say a client because I'm a customer if it's wrong. I'm a client if it's right. So as a customer, I'm like, you can't be in here waxing and doing all this stuff with just wrong. And stop going to people's house. Nothing's wrong with going to people's house, right? Certain businesses I feel like you do need to be licensed in. You're not doing my facial at the house. Unless your house is set up that, properly. But, like a real room. Some people have a house with extra rooms where they can just turn a room into a whole, If I had, okay. So if you got that going on, baby, use it. Don't be out here paying rent for nothing. I understand not wanting everybody in your home because, okay, that right there was no words, right? That was no words. That just let you know right there how I feel about that everybody in your house stuff, right? So, listen, but no, I do feel like though, depending on the business that you have or all businesses, if it involves education, if it involves any type of invest in yourself. When people say that's a real term. Invest in yourself. I invested in myself a lot with that soul business, my boyfriend is my witness. I was depressed. It took me so long to sign that paper to say I'm going to close my baby. That was my baby. That was my therapy. And for a long time after I closed it, I didn't know what the hell to do with myself, right? All I knew was I loved to cook. So I was like, let me start posting some pictures. So I started posting some pictures of my food and I was getting positive feedback. And I'm like, okay. Now, I know some of you was like, well, if you don't want to cater, then what? I don't have to. I post pictures of my food. I put it on social media platforms, and I'm getting a check from social media just from posting my food. That's enough for me, right? That's enough for me because I don't want to post pictures of every day. Sometimes we be in here, we just get down to eating, baby, and then at the end we be like, damn, we ain't getting no picture, messing up the content. But no, I don't know. I don't know. It really took a lot for me to close that business. And then the other thing that I sat still and done last year was all the EINs that I have created. It had to been about 6 or 7. I had to close all of those because for number one, I never did anything with them, right? They were just names, ideas. And I could have still kept them because some of them went back to 2016. Ooh, y'all know, if you know business, you know that history. I could have done something with it, right? But even going back to those years with an EIN that long, you still need to have something to show that you did something. Where's your receipts? Where's the you don't have to be a proposal. I can't remember the word right now, but where's the whatever that tells you about the business? Well, how long you've been in business, and let's see some tax returns. And I don't have none of that, so still ain't gonna get no funding. It's just a EIN, a number on some paper that I can't do anything with. So I just went ahead and closed all those things, and I just told myself that if I open up a business again, I do want to make sure that business is profitable. Because number one, it has to be profitable. It has to be something that people need, right? And, I got something, in the works, that's between me and God right now. But I just want to make sure that it's something that people need. I no longer want to open a business with a want. It's the hardest business ever. And I say that because, like I said, people have to want it, right? You know, when people walk into Walmart, they're going there for something. Most of us, we're going there for something. Pay attention to the terminology that I'm about to use. We go in there for something, but then we come out with a lot of things, right? And it's because it's things that we want. But why are we able to do that in Walmart? It's because it's right there in our face, right? As opposed to me, I'm a small business. I'm at home. I'm online. You have to want to research that thing and then there's so many others that's going to pop up. You have to want to choose mine, right? So I no longer want that type of business. And I don't knock anybody who wants that type of business. You just have to have the patience for it. I no longer have it. I don't. And I know that might come off as harsh, but I no longer have patience for mess. And I'm not talking about nobody else's mess. I'm talking about my mess. The indecisiveness, the not knowing which way you want to go, the what's the other word? I can't think of the other word. Where you just procrastinating, all the procrastination and all that. I don't want that no more. I'm done with that. And I look at my age, and I don't get me wrong. You can't put a number on success, but I look at it and I'm like, dang. What have we done? What have we done over the years? And we have done nothing but cost me money. I cost myself more money. And when I had to sell my inventory, I was broken. I'm like, the amount of money I paid, and I have to sell this stuff for nothing to get rid of it, because what am I going to do with it? And I made a vow, and I said, I'm not going to make soap anymore. And I had a few people contact me, oh, I need soap. I was nice enough to make it for them. But I really want to get out of soap, y'all. And I think that this year I'm officially calling it quits. There's other people out there who are making soap that's working. I don't have to do it anymore. And I think I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to stand on that this year. I'm not going to say think. I'm going to stand on that this year because I have other things that I would like to focus on. So all in all, great morning talk. I can agree. If you don't agree, you know what I'm going to say? Go pray. All right. So, the all in all, that was just my lesson for today. I was going to read a scripture, but I didn't prepare one. So that's another thing that I like to do. I'm real close to God. If you are not that type of person, if you feel like, you know, that's not for me, by all means, this ain't the page for you, because I'm not going to stop, you know, my love, my faith, you know, my praise and worship, because you feel like that's not for you, right? So, you know, whether you like it or not, God is in the midst of all things. God is the reason why things are moving, you know, for you. So if you are a person who feel like, oh, not now, oh God, girl, oh, I don't want to hear this, cool, that's fine. But I hope deep down inside that you realize that you need Him more than ever, right? And I'm gonna leave you with that. Again, my name is Lisa, and I thank you all for listening.